It's been nearly 5 years since a massive wildfire forced the evacuation from Fort McMurray, destroying thousands of homes and costing nearly $9 billion in damages. And now the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo is grappling with yet another crisis, a huge surge in COVID-19 infections. Mike Allen is a councillor in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. He was one of the people forced to evacuate his home during the wildfire, and he's also running for mayor in the region. Joins me now to talk about all of this. Mike, good to see you. And, you know, we didn't even mention the floods after the fire before COVID. You've been hit hard.
Good morning, Jennifer. I have to say, too, getting evacuated all those times, it was starting to get a little bit old, but certainly we have a very resilient community, and we're bouncing back.
It's hard to believe it's been 5 years since those fires, though. Let's just touch on that briefly before we focus on COVID. Tell me, you know, how you felt when you first got that evacuation order.
Well, you know, my wife and I and her son drove out of town through the flames. It was a very surreal experience, I think. All I could think was to look in the rearview mirror and go, my community's burning down, my home, and not being aware or not knowing if there was actually going to be a home to come back to. So yeah, it was an experience that certainly we don't want to live again. But you know, I'm extremely proud of the resources that we had with our first responders. They dealt with it as good as they could, and they were able to limit the damage, although it was very extensive.
Oh my goodness! Just looking at those pictures again brings back so many memories for those of us who watched from, you know, outside the perimeters. $9 billion in damage, though, Mike. How has the city been able to recover since then, and how different does it look?
Well, certainly the areas that were hardest impacted, we had well over 2,500 dwellings that were impacted, and but we've rebuilt about 86% of that now. Everyone's circumstances are a little bit different, so we don't actually believe that we'll get 100% rebuild. But you know, some people left the community, but most stayed up, and this is their home. We continue to rebuild and get stronger and learn lessons from what we've been through.
Yeah, let's focus on COVID-19 now, because your particular region really facing a higher rate than most of the other province. Why is that?
We really don't know. It's something that came across us very suddenly. Certainly, there's a lot of people that travel in and out of the region, but it's a matter of us trying to get the messaging through to make sure that everyone is following the AHS guidelines that are set out, the medical health orders, and perhaps we need to be a little bit stronger in enforcing those. But you know, it happened very rapidly. Where we about 2 months ago we were at about 12 cases. Now we're over 1,300 cases. Jeez. And being a record setter in the province is not necessarily something that we're proud of, but it is something that we're going to work on very diligently. We've had some successes, most recently with our dealings with the province, and they have now recognized the uniqueness of this region. We have a very young demographic, and they have granted us the ability to give the vaccine to anyone over 30 years of age. Okay,
so they're treating it as a hot spot and you know, putting out the vaccines appropriately, then, it sounds like, which is a good first step. Anything more you'd like to see them do?
Well, certainly we'd like to just see some bigger push. We actually need the vaccines. What they've allocated to us has been both the AstraZeneca, but also the first shipment of Johnson & Johnson that's coming into the country. That shipment, of course, has been held up now by Health Canada, and for good reasons, but we would like to think that won't be delayed too much further, because we do know that the higher number of vaccines that are given, the number of people that accept that, then the lower our case count will become.
Okay. Mike Allen is a councillor in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. Good luck to you.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer.
Okay.